everyone, it's Nikki and Niall, and we're here to share with you another session of Building Our Bundle. It's week 3, and this week's topic is called We're All Stars. We're going to hear a bit from Niall in a bit about traditional Anishinaabe teachings about where we come from, where Anishinaabe people come from, and how it relates to the sky above us. So this week's theme is all about thinking about interconnectedness and our relationship. So we want you to think about that as we move through this week's session. We'll talk a little bit later about the activity for this week, which will help you to think through that for yourselves.
Wish conselho me dizer, me conheci essa cliente só que não, nem a chega nem comigo, nem do onde vai. Again, my name, the creation is Wish conselho me dizer. I with the Little People clan. And the little ones are my ancestors, as well as I'm from the beautiful place, or that point of land surrounded by water on 3 sides, known as Anishinaabe. And tobacco has been passed in a good way to share, I guess, a story that I've been learning my entire life and hearing my entire life. I have to acknowledge where I heard this story from. That would be my great-grandmother, Verna Johnston, as well as Basil Johnston as well. The way I always start my stories is a long time ago, there was a community, and in this community, there was a wigwam, or a lodge, or a home. And in this wigwam, there was a family. And in this family, there was a Nokomis, grandmother. Nokomis had a grandson. Nokomis's grandson was named Southwind. And Southwind was very young at this time. Every night they would go just outside of their community, Nokomis and Southwind, as the sun was setting. And they would climb to the top of this big hill. And they would sit there and wait for the stars to come out. And they would just look up. And Southwind, very young, had a lot of questions going on in his mind. And that's good. That's exactly at that age what we're supposed to do. Wonder about our environment and things that are going on around us. Southwind was looking up. And he's like, Nokomis, Grandma, what are those shiny things? Nokomis smiles. Says, my boy, those are stars. Nokomis, what are stars? Nokomis smiles. My boy, each one of those stars are one of those blinking lights. Each one of those are a baby. Southwind thinks, baby? Star? Nokomis. I don't understand. Nokomis just smiles. That's okay. It's okay, my boy. You see, each one of those babies, each one of them are looking down on Earth. And you know what they're looking for? They're looking for their parents. They're looking for their mommy, and they're looking for their daddy. And when they find them, guess what? They're gonna come down as a shooting star. Come down into that mother's belly. And that beautiful gift, that star, that child, will bring love and joy, not only to the family, but also to the community and to creation. Nokomis, I don't quite understand. Nokomis just looks. It's okay, my boy. It's good. The night turned to day. The seasons changed. Winter came in. Southwind and Nokomis could no longer walk to the top of that hill to look at the stars. It was a really harsh winter. was too cold. The winter was so harsh that Nokomis' grandma got sick. Grandma couldn't even get out of her bedding. She couldn't even leave her wigwam. She was pretty sick. Southwind would go by himself, kind of look up at the stars by himself. Seasons change. Winter let up. It was one of those spring nights that Southwind, by himself, walked to the top of that hill where he and Nokomis would go. And he looked up at the stars. He saw something that night. He saw a shooting star land just at the bottom of that hill. And his heart started pounding. He went running down. And he's looking. It's dark. He doesn't see anything. He keeps looking. All of a sudden, he hears this little voice calling to him. Take me. It's me. I'm your gift. I'm your medicine. Southwind. He's kind of nervous and kind of scared. He hesitates and he looks. There's all these beautiful little white flowers bobbing on the surface of this pond. Southwind notices that in the center of this pond, one of those, a gundamo, one of those flowers was calling to him. Take me. I'm your gift. I'm your medicine. And Southwind goes into that water. He's scared. And he walks to the center of that pond and he's looking at that flower, right in the eye. And he goes to pluck that flower. And as soon as he is about to touch it, it screams, Iyo! Kawin! No! No, you take all of me. All of me. And he has to dig out from the bottom of that pond in that mud. He has to dig out that root. And he comes out of that pond. And he's holding this flower, this leaf, this stalk, and this root. And he's confused. So he takes that flower and he's questioning, this is my gift? This is my medicine? And he goes into the wigwam and he's like, Dad, I don't know what this is. And Nos, his dad, takes it and he chops it up and he adds that water and he adds that heat and he makes a tea and he starts giving that tea to Nokomis. And for 4 days and 4 nights, Nokomis is drinking that wonderful tea. And on that 5th night, Nokomis and Southwind were walking to the top of that hill to look up at the stars. They're looking. Nokomis, yes, my boy. You know, when you were sick, I was still coming out to look at the stars. Grandma, Nokomis, she smiles. It's good, my boy. Nokomis, one of those nights, I got my gift. Nokomis smiles. It's good, my boy. Nokomis, I don't think that gift was for me. I think that gift was for you. And Grandma, Nokomis, just smile. As it was told to me, as it was told to them. Basil would always tell me that everybody is born with a very special gift, and that you grab it and you use it, but you have to share it, not only with yourself and with your family, but also with your community and all of creation.
Miigwech Miigeze for sharing that story. I think it's really important for us to start remembering how traditionally we used to think of ourselves as being really sacred individuals and beings that have come to this place and time. It's a really special gift to be given that life. And thinking about the stars really helps us to think about our perspective. It helps us to think about the past, the present, and the future. It can help us think about our relationships that we have with our family, our ancestry, our community, and to land, and to all of creation. So this week we really wanted to help guide you through thinking about, yourself as a star being, as someone who's come from the stars. We're all sacred, we're all made of the same material, and we all have our own types of connections to land, to ancestry, and to the cosmos. So this week's activity is really trying to get you to think about all of those relationships you might have in your own personal constellation. So in your life, you might want to think about the relationships you have in your immediate surroundings, whether that be your family, your caregivers, your friends, your teachers, the people you interact with on a daily basis. And then if you can move outside of that a little bit further, to think more about your community, to think more about maybe your extended family. And then even further from that, what about your ancestry, your clan, your connection to your land or territory? And then if you want, you can even think bigger. What are your connections to the astral bodies, to the stars, to the moon, to the sun? And think about those relationships and how they make you who you are. So this week's activity is to map your own personal constellation using the graphic that we provided here, and to start to think about those relationships. What are those relationships that really help to make you who you are? And what are the relationships that you could maybe move outside of your immediate circle? After you've done that activity of mapping those personal relationships, we want you to share those with us in a photo challenge this week. So this week's activity is a little more technical. We want you to spend some time using a constellation app. So we've suggested a few on our page that you might want to use to start looking at the constellations. Maybe you haven't spent time looking at the stars before and haven't connected with those stories that those stars hold. So try it out. Try a few different apps and see which ones you like, and see the constellations that are in your own community. And then for this week's photo challenge, we want you to choose one of those constellations, or choose an area in your community of stars that you can connect to. And then think back to those relationships that you had mapped out. If you were to make a shape, as all of the constellations kind of tell a story through the shape that they make, what is the shape that would most represent you in your life? We want you to use a Photoshop or photo editing app on your phone or device to help put those images together. So if you were to lay a shape onto the stars in the sky, what would it look like? Share your images with us by putting them on Facebook or Instagram and tagging us by Friday at midnight for your chance to win this week's prize. We are really looking forward to seeing you next week for week 4 of Building Our Bundle. And as always, if you ever need anything, you need some support with this week's activity, don't be afraid to give us a shout. Bye for now.
Bye.